exchange some
Sure.
ideas. And first of all, welcome to talk like that. This is the
Thank you.
first time I'm doing that, so it's funny to me as well. Maybe it will be a little bit easier with time, right? But all right. First of all, I would like to share that in my case, I have my life with the language before Stefan and my life with the language after Stefan. I don't know if I have told you that already, but I would like to share that idea that, I studied, for 5 or 6 years, I don't know, in specific language schools here in Brazil. And during this time, I saw that I was evolving, obviously, but not as much as I wanted. And then I wanted to have something different. And then I found you, and that time you were working for English Bay, I believe.
Yes.
And then we started having conversations and everything. And you were learning Portuguese that time, but you told me it was not the greatest, let's say. So we were not using Portuguese during the classes. This is what I normally tell my students as well, that I think it's interesting to have this opportunity to talk to different people and not having the Portuguese aside there, that you can whenever you need, you can take it and you can speak it, and
Yeah.
so this is quite interesting. So this is my point of view, and how important you were on my learning process now, let's say. And
Oh, thank you for
now
that.
when I am teaching, I always give these I always tell these stories to explain that, things are interesting and possible, because here, especially here in Brazil, when we start learning, we do not think it's possible, to speak a
Mhm.
different language. And then, we had this. You were my first opportunity, let's say, to exchange ideas only in English. So that was quite cool. But I would like you to present yourself, because I don't remember. I remember you studied at university, but I don't remember what exactly, and some details
Yeah, yeah.
about you.
Yeah. I at that time I was at the university. Now I'm a graduate. I graduated in philosophy, but throughout my, should I say, education, not only at the university, obviously, but before here in Serbia, maybe the system is a little bit different, but more or less that's it. So I've been exposed to English since I was, always rough to say, maybe like 5, 6 years old, and after, should I say, like thinking about it, I think that mostly I learned not only the words, actually words, not the grammar. Grammar I learned in school, from elementary throughout the high school, and then just that 1 year at the university. But I would say that since I was exposed to English since I was 5, 6 years old, I would say that I enriched my vocabulary like there, um, being exposed to it since very young age, and also um, the understanding was there. Like I could understand things much easier when I started, like literally started officially learning in my the first year in my elementary school. I guess that was like fifth grade here. I was at that time 11 years old. Yes, 11 years old exactly when I started learning English officially. So, but I was exposed to it like 5, 6 years prior to that, and so I did not graduate in English. That was not my, should I say, forte. But obviously, since 21st century started, and here in Serbia, I'm from Serbia, by the way. Sure, I mean from the small city in the southeast of Serbia. Yeah, currently I live in
Mhm.
Niš. That's the third biggest city here in Serbia, and I've been living here for well 10, 11, 10, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. I lost the track of time. Never mind. Let's say 8 years. Never mind. 8 years. Let's put it like that. Here. So after I graduated, I started. Actually, my first job was when I was still at the university. Had some exams left, and I started teaching English for English Bay, which is I hope really a renowned school now in Brazil. And I've been working for them for 4 years, I think. Yeah, 4 years, something like that, like 3.5, 4 years. Then I stopped. Obviously, things changed, so I had to also adjust myself, private life, and also a working life. Let's call it like that. And so I changed the job, basically, not the company only, but I changed the job. I went to to work in another branch. So as I said, like when it comes to my level of English, I also had the opportunity um to perfect it, I would say. I mean, it's still not perfect, obviously. I mean, you can learn many more idioms and new words and expressions in English. Basically, I mean, if not every day, because now we are 24/7 exposed to internet. I mean,
There's
wherever you
always
go.
something new, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I'm not gonna say perfect, but I had the chance to better my conversational skills while I was teaching, and it helped me personally. But I started teaching because I was at that time already at the C1, let's say, level, whatever. I don't know. Let's call it like that. So it was easy for me to talk to people in English and to teach and to um, adjust my, how to say that. I mean, I didn't have any form of me teaching English. I actually, because I understood what the problem is for a specific person or specific group of people, then I adjusted my teaching approach to everybody. And I always, not only when it comes to learning English, but like every single time when I have to explain something to somebody, I always love to give specific examples to that. Yeah. So I think it really helps people to better understand those things. And the same was with when I was teaching English. Not only you, but all the other students that I had
Hmm.
before you, and after you. So yeah.
Hmm.
And basically, as I said, like I perfected my grammar high school and the university that one
Hmm.
year that I had it. And but high school mostly that's where you learn everything about the grammar, I think. Yeah.
Hmm.
And when it comes to as I said, like conversational skills, that was also in the high school, but mostly uh, living practice. That means
Hmm.
talking to somebody new. So that's the way to do
Yeah.
it.
That's something interesting. I was going to ask you some things that you already said, but let me ask you again just to know a little bit about the let's
Sure.
go a little bit into these topics because they're
Sure.
interesting.
Sure.
Because here, for example, here in Brazil, we have English since we are in the beginning of school, but since kindergarten, maybe now we have
Hmm.
these opportunities. When I was in kindergarten, we didn't have. We had like leaving classes, let's say,
Sure.
and capoeira, physical education, something's
Sure.
super
Of course.
Brazilian. But yeah, well, and but the point is, you told me that you have learned like since you were little and a little bit more as
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
grew in school. And how was
Hmm.
it? How is school in Serbia? Like you learn it like in a bilingual system, or you learn English after all your studies? How's that?
Uh, I believe, like everywhere, you first see, basically, as soon as you start the first grade, obviously, here, as we were, I mean, I was, but we are in Serbia, you started learning Serbian. But I'm not gonna say like every day, because basically you learn how to talk Serbian even before you start going to school. I mean, here you start when you are 7 years old. So basically, you know how to talk to people, and you speak Serbian. I mean, whatever you can do. What other language you can use? Um, uh, and there you just learn grammar and all the other things. Maybe like language that maybe we use in literature. That is like a higher form of everyday conversation, everyday expressions, words that we use, so on and so forth. When it comes to English, I started when I was 11. So I was fifth grade, elementary school. I was 11 years old. Now I think it's different. Now I think they immediately start learning basic things, like not as much just words, how to name stuff in the first grade. So now kids, I believe nowadays they start when they are 7 years old, first grade elementary school. And I
Mhm.
think that now maybe I think maybe that's the better approach, honestly, because we were 11, okay, we were more mature. I'm not gonna say necessarily more intelligent, but we could definitely learn more things much faster than the kids 7, 8 years old can do. I'm not gonna say now because that's I believe like universal. Although throughout the generations you have people who learn, you know, faster, better, remember things than maybe all the others. I mean, you have people like that everywhere. And sorry, what was the question that you asked
No, yeah,
about
that basically how.
what the look, to be honest, you know, it's now it's different. Now I believe when you have
Mhm.
English classes, they tend to put it 100% in English.
Mhm.
Only
Yeah.
when the majority, when something is not well understood, and
Mhm.
there is a majority of students that don't understand something, then
Mhm.
the professor uh, tends to explain it in Serbian. They try
Mhm.
to explain it in just like I mean I did that. I believe I remember that I did that many times when I was teaching English to you guys, and I was trying to explain maybe with the synonyms, maybe with the plastic examples, what
Mhm.
the word means.
Mhm.
And if that didn't work, I would just use the words, you know, like in Portuguese.
Yeah. Do you remember any example like that? Like you were teaching somebody and then
Mhm.
there was a specific word that you couldn't understand or the person couldn't understand?
No, I actually, yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, I had an issue to explain people what the drawer is on the desk. So I was immediately when I was, for example, we had, if you remember, that first part was always vocabulary, like 10 new words or maybe idioms or expressions, whatever. I would ask them to read everything slowly to tell me if they understand and also to give me one or two examples. I think at the beginning it was to give me two examples from each sentence and then from each word, sorry. And then after that, I had some obviously. I mean, as I did, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of. I actually don't know how many classes I did for. Yeah, a lot of them. Definitely, I crossed one, maybe even 2,000 classes. I don't. I really don't know. And I had. I mean, there was a time where I remember for like 1 2 months I couldn't even finish part two because of those sentences. It was very difficult for most of the students at that time to give me two sentences for each word. So that means 20 sentences as an example to see for me to see if they understood what was it. Um, and because of that, then I reduced it to just like, okay, give me like one example so we can move on. And you know, like
Mhm.
I then understood that it should be that way. And the
Yeah.
drawer was the problem. So immediately when we were to that lesson, I would say just gaveta. That's it, and they would understand. They would understand. Like when they started, yeah, I just don't know what the drawer gaveta. Ah, okay, now I understand, and that's it. That was the difficulty.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
let's move on.
Uh-huh.
Let's
Yeah.
move on. There were
Well,
plenty of examples. I forgot. I just saw the drawer here in front of me on my
uh-huh.
girlfriend's desk, so I remembered. That was a
That's
big
a pretty cool one.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because for
yeah.
example, here we have I don't remember about the English way, but here we have some schools that and well here in the south of Brazil and I believe in all
Mhm.
different countries the methodology of working with no translations, you know. So then,
Mhm.
as
Yes,
you can see, this problem of gaveta,
yes,
it will probably take you more than 10 minutes to explain what is a drawer if you don't say the word
yeah,
gaveta, right? And if you say the freaking word, you have like 1 minute, solve the problem, keep on going, right? So
yeah,
this is, well, why I like the idea of no translations, but at the same time, it saves you time, right? So
yeah, exactly.
it's important as well because of that. Imagine you were asking two examples, and then what the hell is a drawer? And then you have to make something with your hands or draw or that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good, very good. And so learning English for you in general was quite easy, was quite natural. Would you say it like that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
For me specifically, and I should say, like for me personally, specifically. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm not an extraordinary person in any single way. Just a regular guy. And for me specifically, yes, it was easy. As I said, you know, as uh, I mean, I obviously thought about it many, many times, like how the other people don't. I mean, students in my class, so my classmates, when I thought about it many times when I was younger, like long time ago now, I always thought like how they don't understand. I mean, this is easy. This is just like a basic stuff that we do. And then after doing some more reflection, I was like, ah, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Maybe it was easy for me because I was exposed to it and actually I didn't even pay attention to words, expressions
Hmm.
being said. No. Um I actually believe that as I was reading the translation, we didn't have the synchronization, like in Serbian. For
Hmm.
example, if I would watch something, a cartoon that is English spoken, we
Uh,
didn't have the synchronization. No, we had it like we had the subtitles in Serbian.
hmm.
So I had to already know how to read, and there I believe that subconsciously my brain was catching the correlations between the word in Serbia, the word in English being spoken that I could hear,
Hmm.
and the word in Serbian that was like in the translation. I
Hmm.
believe that was the key for me. I think that was the key. That's where I learned. I'm not gonna say most of the words that came way after, but like this basic stuff, I'm just gonna name some stupid examples like
Hmm.
chair, table, whatever,
Hmm.
bed, sofa. Let's say, put it that way. Although in Portuguese that's pretty easy because you guys also have sofa, so that's
Hmm.
like literally the same word. But just for example, um, what else? The wardrobe here that is open. I'm sorry for that.
No
And all
problem.
the other stuff, like
Yeah.
book, notebook, whatever, like
Hmm.
all the other,
Yeah,
all those things.
that's quite interesting because it's something that I normally tell students because we are always on a hurry. Let's say when it comes to studying, we are not patient. Let's say,
Exactly.
and then well, you taught Brazilians, Um, then, for example, they always say, well, I started a new series and now I'm watching it in English with subtitles in English, or I'm watching it in Portuguese with subtitles in English. What should I do? Right? This is what they say. And I always tell people to watch it in English because it is normally the original language, right? And
Sure.
with subtitles in Portuguese because you are going to understand eventually. You're going to get the flow of the language, and then you can
Hmm.
switch the subtitles if you
Hmm.
want and all this kind of
Exactly.
things, right?
Do you
And I
remember?
believe,
Do, sorry for interrupting. Do you remember who gave that idea?
Probably you.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
Probably you, because I tell students things to do, but I was the one doing it
Sure.
before,
Yeah.
right? So this is what I did. For example, I started liking Friends
Hmm.
because well, I started watching. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Friends is amazing" and everything, and then I wanted to watch, but I opened Netflix and there was no option to watch it in Portuguese, you know. And then,
Yes.
oh my God, I'll have to watch it with subtitles. I don't like it because we have some problems here in Brazil. People say that we cannot pay attention to the movie if we are reading,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it happens in every place, but here in Brazil specifically,
Hmm.
people are like that. And but then I started liking it, and I started getting the flow of the language, as I said. So when
Hmm.
I started studying, I was things were not too weird, I would say, because when we start a new language, as you told me, you started a new one recently, right? When we start new languages, studying new languages, everything is weird, right? So when I started, because of the context that I had with the series, it wasn't that weird, let's say. So then I believe it's something that helps. What is the language you started studying?
Norwegian. Actually, I started
Norwegian.
Norwegian, yes, even before Portuguese. Like literally in
Ah,
April
interesting.
2020. Yes, one
Mm-hmm.
month before I started working for English Bay. And that
Ah,
happened
okay.
in May 2020, and in April I started Norwegian. Then
Mm-hmm.
in June I opened Portuguese. Then I just focused on Portuguese more than on Norwegian.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's when I went with that back and forth. I don't even remember. I mean, really,
Mm-hmm.
even
Yeah.
though I love
Did
to
you give
believe.
up Portuguese?
Sorry.
Did you give up Portuguese?
No, I again took a break from it. Just
Uh,
put the effort in Norwegian, and
mm-hmm.
yeah, for some time I believe since I switched in September 2023, I stopped working at English Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and I started working. I started another job, and there I didn't have any. Maybe I believe that was like subconsciously, like I mean I'm not gonna say I gave up on it. It's still
Mm-hmm.
there, like should I say like a gaveta is not a very specific term and it's a very specific word, but for somebody who doesn't speak Portuguese, not daily, not weekly, not monthly, not at all, nobody understands what the hell gaveta is here. At least in my environment, like
Yeah.
that's a living proof that it's still there. It's still there. You
Mm-hmm.
just need to remind yourself. Yeah, yeah. But
Cool.
no, I mean, for now it's like that. And actually just yesterday I started working in another company. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a different job again, yeah. And there we're just gonna need English, obviously. I mean, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Like if you know another language, it's a plus. But mostly people, should I say, like jobs like that, they are looking for somebody who maybe can speak Spanish. Today, I explained to the people that look, um, thanks to Portuguese, I can understand Spanish, as we talked about it. You remember maybe some parts of that conversation. But I told them that listen, the problem is I have an automation to answer in Portuguese, but the problem is that people who speak Spanish they don't understand Portuguese. This Brazilian Portuguese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So
interesting. And
yeah,
do you have contact with foreigners where you live now?
where I live now, yeah, actually yes I do. With one, I was just about to say girl. No, she's not a girl. Definitely, she's a woman. I'm not a boy anymore, so she's just 2 years older than me, and we are already. I'm
Uh-huh.
31, gonna be in June this year 31, and she
Mm-hmm.
She will be 33, I believe. She's a mother as well. So she's from Philippines. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. All right.
Filipina. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And with her, yes, with her. I mean, she's learning English because she's married to one of our. Um, she's married to now, as I am dating with this girl. I mean, she was a part of her company. Should say, like, like her group of friends,
mhm.
and just with her, we have to speak in English, but she's learning Serbian slowly.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right. And yeah, well, coming to an end, I have more one or
Sure.
two questions that I would like to ask
Okay.
you. That
Just shoot.
is, how's life after teaching?
Life after teaching. It was, I would say, on a private note, a bit turbulent. It
Mm-hmm.
shifted some things changed. On when it comes to that working life, let's say, I mean, but it's changed. But like English is basically everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I am again one good example to myself that. So as I was working for like one whole year, maybe a bit more, I don't again remember. Good Lord, with the memory. For that one year, I was also using English uh, for that job that I was doing, and now I'm gonna use English again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
That's
it's
cool.
everywhere. Yeah, like basically on a. I mean, thanks to internet, I don't talk to people daily. You
Mm-hmm.
know, daily I don't talk to people daily in English, but it's still there, like
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, thanks to the internet. And how the life is after teaching English, well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think about it that much. I mean, do I miss it? Yeah, maybe a bit, but thanks to the like tax regulatives here in Serbia and all the other laws that comes to that, the surrounds this type of work, you know, now it's different, and you have to pay some money that basically it's I'm not going to say it's not affordable, but you're unfortunately you're wasting your time. You have to
Mm-hmm.
pay taxes on your own, and it's not going to work for me anymore like that.
All
So
right,
I have
pay,
to give up on it.
but paying taxes for what? That part I didn't get.
uh, as i was as I was working as a, let's say, English teacher, tutor, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
you know we here received money via PayPal, and
Mm-hmm.
it was all fun and games until, I don't know, let's say, I believe 2022. Since January 2022, the new law was applied. The law that came back in at the end of 2020, beginning 2021, something like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
it started from January 1st, 2022 to be implemented, which means that all the freelancers, English teachers, and all the other people that make money on internet, let's say, they had to either open their company, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which was for English teachers unaffordable, but also there is one test here that you need to, uh, some kind of like a taxing test that you have to pass so that the tax authorities can see that you have the opportunity to open the company. And for English
Mm-hmm.
teachers, that's like that's a no go. You just don't have,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot pass the test. Simply put.
Mm-hmm.
So that was not an option, and the only option was to pay the taxes on my own. Under my name and name and surname. Surname would be my last name. So like, I'm not gonna be a company, but I'm gonna be me. Under my
Mm-hmm.
name and last name. You have to pay the taxes. You need to make a profile on the uh, there's a website now that I have a profile there still. So like, I mean, if I decide to do this again,
Mm-hmm.
I can. Now I know the whole procedure. It's not a big deal, but just it takes my money, my earned money from my pocket. That's it.
Gotcha.
And they
Yeah,
paid
well,
a lot of money.
we have something similar here in Brazil as well. I don't know if
Mhm.
it's that much because it's easy to open something that we call May now, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I
and that
know. I
is,
remember. I
you know,
talked to people about opening the company in
yeah.
Brazil. Yes, they told me
Okay.
it's like easy, but the tax regulatives were like very, very high. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Here as a freelancer, basically you need to pay almost 50, not 15, not 15,
Mm-hmm.
50, like one half of your earnings in 3 months. You have to pay. Yeah, that's the tax. That's the
That's a
tax.
lot.
Sorry, that's the tax. Yeah, like you
Mm-hmm.
work for 3 months, then you don't multiply, you just add, like you get
Mm-hmm.
the total amount of money that you earned, and basically just, I mean, the formula goes
Mm-hmm.
different
Like that.
than what I'm gonna say, but basically they take 50% of that money, one
Mm-hmm.
half. And that's like, as I
Gotcha.
said, why should I do that
Yeah,
to
yeah, it's
myself?
easier here because we pay a certain amount every month. There's a
Hmm.
monthly tax you have to pay, but it's all right. It's not like that. It's not a percentage of what you earn, right? So it's
Hmm.
quite better, I would say. And the last one, what
Sure.
next, Stefan? What about your projects? What about the things you're doing now? Tell me.
Currently, basically 1 month ago, I moved out again, as I was living here, but then for like 2.5 years, I came back to my hometown. The here, I mean, the city that is like southeast from here, from Niš. There to help my parents financially a little bit, to recuperate and finish some things that I had there. So when that was done, here in this just last month, actually, I came back to live in Niš, and now I'm living with my girlfriend, and we'll see about this job. As I said, like, that's what I started like literally yesterday, so
Mm-hmm.
still don't know how it's gonna go, if I'm gonna stay there and for how long. I mean, I hope for the best, but we will see. um that's when it comes to this. And I am waiting to also this year, I have to decide if I'm gonna start master studies, if not in philosophy, what I graduated,
Mm-hmm.
uh maybe something else. And also
All
need
right.
to think about it, but actually think I need to think about it pretty fast, because we are already in February,
Mm-hmm.
and the time is flying, like literally flying, I'm gonna say. And
Uh-huh.
so, like, you have to have a sit down one weekend, and you know first to have a, like a, I'm not gonna say deep conversation with myself, but to see what I'm
Hmm.
gonna do and how
Basically,
it's gonna be.
basically have a conversation with yourself.
But basically,
Yeah,
yes, I
yeah.
mean, like everybody else, you just sit down, you
Hmm.
don't have to talk loudly, you just have to
Uh-huh.
you know think
What
about
now,
things.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what now to decide.
Mhm.
And that's it. I mean, that's when it comes to some let's say professional goals. There are some things that I have on my mind, but now it's impossible to do it because of the time, and also because of the resources, not just the financial resources, but just at the moment where I am and where we are as a couple, me and my girlfriend. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it's gonna be. I always hope for the best, and you basically never know what the future is gonna bring.
Mhm. Very
So
nice, very nice.
yeah,
Basically, thank you very much for
sure.
being the first person here to talk to me. And I wish you the best. And thank you again for all the effort
Sure.
you put on me. Let's say in the past in the past years we were studying together. There's a certain, as I told you before, there's a
Mhm.
percentage of my the way I trust on the on my skills based on the classes we had together. So thank you very
Sure.
much, and I wish you the best in this new job, as you said. And
Sure.
yeah, well, that is it. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for inviting me. It was my pleasure, first of all, to hear it back from you and to see that everything is going fine with you, that you're doing what you love, and basically that's the most important thing in the world when it comes to professional goals.
Hmm.
And I'm really glad that you improved. I mean, I can hear that. Obviously, after some time, you improved like
Yeah,
astronomically. I mean, as I said, I don't know if you remember when we started having those classes. I told you, your English is great. I mean, just don't worry about it. You were how old?
yeah.
19 at that time. At that time, 18,
Yes,
19,
I
20,
believe 18. Yeah, 18. I'm 23
20,
now.
2020. Yeah, yeah. Okay, sure. So yeah, something like that. So don't worry about it. I mean, as
Hmm.
I said, some things are gonna go naturally, and you have to just be patient, give it the time, and as you could now see that yourself. And believe me, you're not gonna stop there. Not only when it comes to perfecting your English now, as we are talking about
Hmm.
English language and how it is to learn in English and use it as another language. Not only your mother tongue, but also, you know, second language that you have to use. English in this specific case. Um, So yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that everything is fine with you, that you moved on also with your life and with the education, and now, as you said, as you are working uh, as a teacher, if I understood well, and
Hmm.
yeah, and teaching people and sharing your experiences, how it was when you were studying.
Hmm.
And I want to say, should I say, like, use the opportunity to thank you again for inviting me to be the first, let's say, the first interviewee over here, huh? The first interview
Yeah, the
person.
first guest, let's say.
Yeah, the first guest, exactly. So I really wish all the best and a lot of success to your channel on YouTube. And listen, I mean, as you know, Brazil is a big market, so there's always an opportunity to, like to exploit that to the maximum.
Hmm.
No, no, I'm just kidding. But
Perfect.
listen, just from my experience again, as I was working with you guys from there, obviously as a teacher, you have to be patient and you have to be easygoing. When people feel um, safe, when they feel relaxed around you, of course they're gonna put effort. I mean, if
Hmm.
they really want to learn a language, as we are talking now about learning a language, that's English.
Hmm.
Not only they're gonna put effort anyway, but also it's gonna be much easier for them to learn faster.
Hmm.
Like they're gonna have the faster pace, let's say, of learning than it usually goes. But for every single person, it's different. Just be patient, easygoing, relaxed, and also, like keep improving, because that's at
Hmm.
the end of the day, when you improve as a person, first of all, and then when you improve in your case, as an English teacher, you're also gonna improve your teaching skills.
Hmm.
Trust
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know, because I felt it. I mean, I lived that for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
something like
thanks
that.
thanks
So
for that tip. It will be very helpful for me and for everybody that will be listening to us. Thank you again, mate.
I really hope, Andre. I really hope.
Mm.
So take care. I'm gonna be, as I told you the last time we heard from each other. I told you, if you
Hmm.
need anything from me, I will be here. If I can help contribute somehow, I will be here. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
You're not gonna bother me, so don't worry. Just, as here, as we talked about, this
Yeah.
specific time, if whether we can talk to each other or not. Just we have to,
Hmm.
to make that deal, and it can happen. So whatever you need, and uh, whenever you need me, I will be here. Don't worry.
Likewise, mate. Likewise. Thank you very
For sure.
much.
For
See
sure.
you soon.
I hope. Wish you all the best. Wish you good luck with that channel, and take care of yourself.